Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Today we will learn about the grid search to find the best combination of all the parameters of the classifier. Okay, so first of all we will summarize what we do in the machine learning. Okay, so we first of all train the bunch of the model with our training data, and then we use the cross validation data to pick the best of this model. And then finally we test it, the testing data, to make sure our model is good or not. Okay. Now let's take an example of the logistic regression to understand more. So here we train here for, let's say we have the four models. We train our model of a degree 1, which is a line, then with a degree of 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we train them with training data to find the slope and the coefficient of the polynomial. And then we use the cross validation data to find the F1 score of all these models, and then we pick the model which has the highest F1 score. And at a final step, we will be using the testing data to make sure that our model is good or not. Okay, so the parameter of the algorithm in this case are the coefficient of the polynomial and the degree of the polynomial. So coefficient of the polynomial or degree of polynomial. So this degree of the polynomial is like some matter parameter, which we call as a hyperparameter. Okay, let's take another example here. Let's take the example for the logistic regression, decision tree model. So here the hyperparameter is the depth. So here we will be using the training data to train the bunch of the trees of the depth of 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the parameter here are the threshold in the leaves and the nodes. So here we will take the F1 score and calculate it on the cross validation set on each of this model. And then we will pick the one which did the best. And finally, we will test the testing data using the testing data. And we'll make sure whether the model is good or not. So now what happens if we have more than one hyperparameter? Here in this case, we had only one hyperparameter, that is depth. So what if more than one hyperparameter is there? So now let's take the example for the support vector machine, which has more than one hyperparameter here. So here the hyperparameter is like kernel, which can be linear or polynomial. Then we have the gamma parameter, which if it is small, then it gives a solution like this. It classifies this to red and blue point like this. And if it is large, so it perfectly divide this, classify this points. Okay. Now, how do we pick the best combination between the kernel and the gamma? So it is very simple using the grid search. So and here in this case, the grid search come in picture. So it just says to make a table with all the possibilities, okay, and pick the best one. So here the columns are the different kernel like linear and polynomial, and rows are the different values of the gamma. It is recommended to take the few values that grow exponentially, such as 0.1, 1, 10, 100, and 1000. Again, we will use a training data set to train the bunch of the linear models and polynomial model with the different values of the gamma. And then we will use the cross validation set to calculate the F1 score in all this model. And then we'll pick the one which has the highest F1 score. Now we'll use the testing set to make sure whether that model is good or not. So now, how do we implement this in the code using the sklearn? Let's see. So let's see here. Let's take an example. We want to train the support vector machine model. Okay. So we have decided to take the parameter like kernel, poly, and RBF, and gamma 0.1 and 1 and 10. Let's see the step by step steps. So here we will import the grid search SCD from the sklearn module, and then we will form the dictionary for all the parameters from which we can want to choose. So in this dictionary, the keys are the name of the parameter, and value will be the list of possible value of each parameter. Now the next step, we want to decide what matrix we will be using to use a score for each of the models. So here we are using the F1 score here. Okay. So now then we will create the grid search object here with the parameters and scorer, and use this object to fit the data. And at last, we will find the best classifier that will be used to make the prediction. Now let's talk about some function which is in the NumPy model that will be helping in the code. Okay, so flatten and ravel. So these two function, as I have already told about the ravel, so here a flatten came, so I have discussed both flatten and ravel together here. So these two function convert the n-dimensional array to the one-dimensional array. The only difference between the flatten function generates the copy. It generates the copy of the original array, and any modification will not affect the original array. Okay, and ravel points to the original array. Any modification will affect the original array. Okay, so here you can see like ravel and flatten. These two arrays there. So it converts the n-dimensional array to a single dimensional array. This is the example here. You can follow it reference here. So the another function in the NumPy is non-zero, where and arc where. So all this function returns the indices of the non-zero element of the array. And we can also provide the condition in the argument of this function. This function will return the indices of those non-zero elements which will satisfy the condition. Okay. The only difference in argware and non-zero function is that argware returns the indices after transposing. So now let's take the example here. So this is the array here. Okay. So whatever first of all I'm doing, I'm passing this array to a argware function, and when you see the result for this, you can see this result here. So it will return the indices of the non-zero element. This is the non-zero element, so its integer is 0, 0. This is 0, so this will not return this. It will not return for this indices for this element. So here it will be 0 row and second column. So here it will be 0, 2. Same for this one is not included. So this one it will be 1 first row and first column. So 1, 1. Same way for 1, 2. No. So here argware has given this output here. So for where also same answer will be returned, but it is not transposing the matrix what you have found here. So here for 11 it is 0, 0, 21 it is 0, 2, 19 is 1, 1 and 1, 2. Same way for the non-zero and where is same as both are same here. Okay. So same way for the where function also. So only difference between the where and other two is that it has also the other features, that if the condition in the argument is true, then it will return the indices of the A array element. Otherwise, it will return the indices of the B array element. Let's take the example for the reference here. So here, the condition is A greater than 0. If this condition is satisfied for this element, so this is greater than 0, so its indices is returned. Okay, this is returned here, and if condition is false, then the B will be returned here. Okay. So let's this you have talked about the argware, non-zero and where function. This will be used in the code. Okay. Okay, now let's come to the Jupyter notebook and implement the grid search in code. Okay, so first of all, what I have done here, I have loaded the CSV file which contains all the coordinate of the point and is the state. Okay, same way what I have done, I have created a NumPy array or converted this into the NumPy array from Panda data frame. Okay, and then what I'm taking this for one means all the rows of 0 and 1 column. Okay, it will be placed in the X, and all the rows, okay, of the second column will be placed in Y. Okay, now let's see here. So as I have already discussed about the arcvr, so what it does is like the arcvr is used to find the indices of those elements whose y's value is 0. Okay, and then convert into the n from the n dimensional to the one dimension array. So here we get so when you see the print this result, you can see here it will return the indices of all those element whose y's value is 0. Okay, and it will convert into the one dimensional array. Okay, now what I am doing, I am taking the indices here. So I don't want indices, I want the coordinate of the points of the coordinate of the point which is placed in this indices. So what I'm doing, I'm with the passing the indices and getting the result that coordinate of the point. Okay, so here is the result here. Okay, okay, so here I have in Q I have placed for the y equal to 0, and for we have given the condition for y equal to 1 in the R. So all the coordinate whose state is 1 is placed in R, and whose state is 0 is placed in Q. Now what I am doing, I am scattering using the scattered function and giving the argument that all coordinate of the point whose y's value is 0. This is the x coordinate, and this one is the y coordinate. Okay, so because in Q it contains the two coordinate, coordinate x and y coordinate. So this will give the x coordinate and this will give the y coordinate, because this is the 0 column and this is the 1 column. Okay, and I'm giving the color as blue. Okay, and edge color as black. Okay, and I'm scattering those point. Same way I'm scattering the point which has a value, y value is 1. Okay, and coordinate x coordinate and y coordinate I have given here with color red and h color as black. Okay, now I've given that x limit, y limit and grid, and I have loaded this function. I have created load PTS, so I am calling this function and plotting the graph here. So when you see the graph here, it will look like this. Okay. Now I have split the data into the training and the testing set, and I have defined the decision tree classifier model using the I have defined this classifier, and using the fit function I have trained the model. Okay, now what I am doing, I am predicting the value of y for the training data and also the test data. Okay, and then now what I will do, I will plot the graph for this, and I have plotted the graph for the uh, 1 second. I have plotted the graph of the decision tree. First of all, I will scatter the point in the graph, now like same way what I have done in previous. So I have scattered the point red and blue, giving the color as red and blue for the for y's value for 0, y equal to 0, 0, 0. So it will be blue, and y equal to 1. So color will be red here. I have scattered the point and given the limit as x limit and y limit here. Now what I am doing, I am each region from minus 2.1 to 2.1, I am splitting the dividing into the 300 equally spaced point, and then I'm forming the matrix x and s and t using the masquerade function. So masquerade function I have already explained in the previous session. So now I will convert the n dimension s and t as n dimensional t to one dimension using the flattened function. Okay, now using the c underscore, I will take the corresponding element of s and t and it will be placed together to form the coordinate of the point. C underscore also I have explained in the previous session. Okay, so now what I will do, I will predict the value, predict the y's value, whether it is 1 or 0 for the each point from minus 2.1 to 2.1 region. Okay, and then this will give the one dimensional array. So now I will reshape to the shape as a matrix of S. That means it will convert into one dimension to the n dimension, where n is the size of the matrix n. Now using the contour f function, so region will be colored as red or blue depending upon the predicted value of y. Okay. So now this unique function why I'm using here. So this function is used to find the unique value placed in the z. That means it has, as you know, NZ has only 1 or 0 value. Okay. So that means it has only two values, unique value in Z. So its length is greater than 1. So that means it will satisfy the conditions. It will go inside this, and contour function is used to this contour f. And what is the difference between contour f and contour is it will fill the region. It will plot, and contour will plot the contour in the graph. Okay, so same way I have given this S and T matrix. That means the corresponding element of S and T taken as a coordinate of the point, and Z is the predicted value, and color I am giving all as a black. So it will plot the region. That means it will separate the blue. It will form the boundary with a line. Okay, so it will look like this. So this will look like this. Okay. So for blue region and red region it has plotted, and this black boundary it has given by contour. Okay, so plotted. Now training F1 score, as I have found the F1 score here for the trained one, and for the test also. Predicted on the testing set. So F1 score for both is like a training F1 score is 1 and testing of F1 score is 2.7. That means it is overfitted here. While training the resonant tree, I have overfitted, as it has not worked, as you can see on the testing that it has not worked well. Okay, now what we'll do, we will use a grid search to find the best combination of the parameter. So for that, I am I am importing this grid search CV from the sklearn module, and I am defining the classifier and giving the parameter, that is a criterion. It has a criterion as Gini and entropy. Max depth, I'm giving all this value. Mean sample leaf, I'm giving this all value, and mean sample, I'm giving this all this value. Now I'm taking the F1 score as a scorer, and then I'm creating the grid search object. Okay, by passing the classifier parameters and scorer. Okay, now I'm using the best. Now I have fitted with the x and y value here. Now I will find the best estimate of estimate using the best estimator function. So best combination will be uh, uh, returned here, and then we will use the train best. Once we will get the best classifier. Now then we will train with the training data, and then we'll predict the values for the testing training set and for the testing set also, to find whether it is how it looks, or how the best combination is called. So on the training the set, F1 score is 85%, and for the testing it is 72%. So that means it is not overtrained. So this is the best model. As using the grid search, you will get the, so this is the plotted graph here for the for this best combination. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video.